Hey guys, welcome back to Obsessed with Videos for another multimedia update. The first one of 2023 in fact, and my first proper video of 2023. I know that I uploaded that announcement back in January concerning my film releases to expect in 2023 miniseries, and the fact that it is now cancelled. But now that that's out of the way, it's time to move forward with other videos. Now, in this update, I've got one cinema ticket, my first one of 2023, one 4K Blu-ray and two standard Blu-rays to start off the year. So without further ado, let's get started with the cinema ticket. Now, this year, for the third year in a row, that's 2021, 2022 and 2023, I've ended up having a silent January for cinema viewings. This time though, it's just because I haven't really felt like going that much as of late. But I'm hoping to have more viewings as the year goes on. And at least I've managed to start February off with a good one. And trust me, it's a banger. It's also the first year since 2020 that I haven't started this year off with an anime film. Because for the previous 2 years, which were 2021 and 2022, I ended up starting off those years with anime films, primarily due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And respectively, the films that I started those years off with were Demon Slayer Mugen Train for 2021 and Bell for 2022. However, this year I've decided to start my year's cinema viewings off in a different way, but I still ended up going for an animated film. As I said, not a Japanese one, but rather one from a major American animation studio like DreamWorks Animation, and also a film that is considered to be possibly the best from them since the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. And no, I'm not talking about The Bad Guys. That film came out back in April, by the way. And I haven't even seen that film yet anyway. But I know that there were a lot of people online talking about that film, and a lot of people on DeviantArt making fan art of it as well. However, there is one animated film from DreamWorks that has very recently been released that I think has been talked about much more than what The Bad Guys had. And I bet a lot of people will agree with me on this, because they probably have seen stuff from this film circulating around online, and it has also spawned quite a few memes. Like, at the moment, if you look on somewhere like Know Your Meme, then you may notice that there could be some memes from this film possibly trending on this site, and possibly around social media as well, making it one of the most talked about films at the moment, debatably more so than Avatar: The Way of Water, even though its box office numbers have in no way reached the same levels as Avatar 2, which has already made over $2 billion. I think this other film I'm talking about has so far only reached like a quarter or possibly even less than that. But it still seems to have been a critical and financial success so far nonetheless. And it's a sequel to a spin-off of one of DreamWorks Animation's all-time most beloved franchises. And no, it's not How to Train Your Dragon or Kung Fu Panda, because the former has been finished with the trilogy that ended in 2019, and the fourth installment of the latter won't be coming out until next year in 2024, but a franchise that predates those two, and it had its first 4 main installments released in 2001, 2004, 2007, and 2010, and its first spin-off released in 2011, and the sequel to that spin-off is what I'll be showing the cinema ticket for today. I know I've been trying to build up for what the cinema ticket is going to be for a while now, so here it is. The one film that I got the cinema ticket for in this update is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, the sequel to 2011's Puss in Boots, which itself is a spin-off to DreamWorks Animation's Shrek franchise. Yesterday I saw this film and I thought it was really good in my opinion. I agree with the critics. And it's also the best film in the Shrek franchise since Shrek 2, which is kind of not hard to get to because Shrek the Third and Shrek Forever After were kind of low points for the Shrek franchise. The first Puss in Boots was better, but I think this one is a lot better, and back to where it used to be with Shrek and Shrek 2. And also this film comes with a custom BBFC card at the start as well. Considering that this film was released by Universal, the current owners of DreamWorks Animation, this isn't the first time that Universal has had a custom BBFC card for one of their films. Last year, in front of Jurassic World Dominion, they also had a custom BBFC card as well. And we've also had custom BBFC cards for other films in the past, like Maleficent Mistress of Evil, which was released in 2019 by Disney, and Diary of a Wimpy Kid Dog Days in 2012, which was released by 20th Century Fox, which is now part of Disney, by the way. But I think you probably already know that by now. Anyway, this film was rated PG, which is the first time that a film in the Shrek franchise was actually rated PG theatrically in the UK, because the other 5 films in the Shrek franchise, Shrek, Shrek 2, Shrek the Third, Shrek Forever After, and the first Puss in Boots, they were all rated U in the UK. And considering that Puss in Boots The Last Wish is kind of going for a darker tone compared to the other Shrek films, and the fact that the guidelines have kind of changed for the BBFC over the years, that is why this film was more likely to get a PG rating and did get a PG rating. Another thing that I want to bring up is the new DreamWorks logo that appeared at the start. I know that logo has got mixed reception, but I think it was a really good one, especially because it brought back the old fanfare that was used in the 2004 and 2010 logos. And it just gave me a lot of nostalgia watching that. Because one of my favourite film studio logos as a child was DreamWorks Animation. I always loved seeing that logo on the big screen, and I still enjoy seeing it to this day, especially with the new one that they've got and the interchangeable characters, which is something that I want to bring up. Because with the boy that was sitting on the moon, they've now changed it to gender neutral and called it the Moonchild to try and appeal to more viewers, so you can imagine the Moonchild is either a boy or a girl. And during the logo, they pass by many characters from DreamWorks films, like, in order you have the bad guys, and then you have Toothless from the How to Train Your Dragon franchise, you have Po from Kung Fu Panda, and then you have Ted Templeton Jr., the titular character from the Boss Baby films, and then you have Poppy from Trolls, and then you have Shrek, Donkey, and Fiona from Shrek. And then the Moonchild goes back to through the clouds and onto the full moon, bringing the crescent moon back into it and bringing out their fishing rod, making the finished product of the 2019 logo, but with more stylized animation. Even though I liked the 2019 logo that was in front of films like How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, Abominable, Trolls World Tour, and so on, I think the one that has started to be used since Puss in Boots The Last Wish is better. I'm excited to see what they've got with their other films, with the upcoming films from DreamWorks Animation. Maybe I won't see all of them, but there might be a few of them that I see, and I'm excited to see what variants they've got for that logo, which characters will be changed out for other ones on their upcoming films, even though, as I said, I might not see all of them. Anyway, with that out of the way, as I mentioned, this film is rated PG. I saw it at Cineworld in Castleford on February 8th, 2023 at 1:10 p.m. And I was in Screen 3 and I was in row G and seat 4. Now onto the 4K Blu-ray, which is Ghostbusters Afterlife, the 4th installment of the Ghostbusters franchise. Or technically the 3rd if you don't count the 2016 reboot, but since I am counting the 2016 reboot, this is the 4th film in the Ghostbusters franchise after the original 1984 film, Ghostbusters 2 in 1989, and of course the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot, and then Ghostbusters Afterlife in 2021. Released by Sony Pictures Home Entertainment in early 2022. Speaking of Ghostbusters, I think they're doing another Ghostbusters film at the end of this year in like December. Obviously a sequel to Ghostbusters which is going to be the follow-up to Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I think a direct sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife as well. I mean, there's no way they could do a sequel to the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot because of bad reviews and the controversy behind the film. But I still enjoyed the reboot nonetheless. Anyway, there's the 4K disc for Ghostbusters Afterlife, and there's the Blu-ray disc. The standard Blu-ray disc. Now onto the standard Blu-rays, and speaking of DreamWorks Animation, I've got one of their other films, one that was released nearly 10 years ago, which is The Croods. I decided that I had the second one on Blu-ray, Crude's A New Age, which I had since Christmas 2021, so I decided, why not get the original on Blu-ray? Especially because and maybe it's a coincidence, but the film is going to turn 10 years old in sometime soon, probably in the next month or so. As I mentioned, a DreamWorks Animation release from 2013, distributed by 20th Century Fox. And I think this was also their first film under the Fox deal as well, because they had that for a few years with films like The Croods, Turbo, Mr. Peabody and Sherman, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Penguins of Madagascar, Home, Kung Fu Panda 3, Trolls, The Boss Baby, and Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. And then, starting with How to Train Your Dragon The Hidden World in 2019, they moved to Universal. DreamWorks has kind of been all over the place over the years with their animated films, because in terms of their releases, they kind of started off at Universal back in the 90s and 2000s, because on their VHS tapes, they'd often be distributed by Universal. Like, I used to be a collector of VHS tapes, and as you may have known, I used to upload a lot of VHS openings as well, and chances are I probably uploaded one released by DreamWorks. So, and when it came to DreamWorks VHS openings, they'd often cross over DreamWorks and Universal titles. So if you were to watch some of my openings from years ago, then chances are there'll probably be at least one from DreamWorks that was distributed by Universal. But then, after the VHS days, they moved to Paramount in 2006, and then as mentioned in 2013, DreamWorks Animation moved to 20th Century Fox, and now in 2017, 2018, 2019, they moved back to Universal in a way, but now they're completely owned by Universal. And there's the Blu-ray itself, and also an advertisement for Shrek the Musical, which was released on DVD and Blu-ray around the time that The Croods was, sometime in 2013. And the last film for this update, and the last Blu-ray and the last standard Blu-ray for this update is Nope, the recent film directed by Jordan Peele, released by Universal with distribution handled by Warner Brothers. And there's the disc itself. Now, as for future videos, I'm not sure when the next update, will be yet. You'll just have to wait and see on that one. But anyway, that's it for this update, and stay tuned for more videos coming soon.